Hello and welcome you all to the Bajirao IAS Academy. Today is 7th October and we are going to discuss the daily Hindu newspaper analysis. And today we have to discuss lots of articles because the Hindu had published some of the very important articles for the examination point of view, so that we have accumulated all these articles and today we will discuss it one by one. Okay, so be with us, and if you are liking our initiative, please do like, share, subscribe, and also share with your friend circle so that any important updates or the notifications regarding our next video should be delivered to you immediately. Okay, and for the PDF you can join our Telegram channel and the link has been given into the description box. Okay, so now we are starting with the editorial discussion, but before that you have to have a warm-up session by solving one of the prelims question, and this question is related to economy. Okay, and you can pause the video and try to solve it, and if you are able to solve it, well and good, and if you are not, then don't worry, I am here with you and we will provide you the good solution and also the important concepts associated with it. Okay, so the question is, consider the following statements. Statement 1: the governor of the RBI is appointed by the central government. Statement 2: the certain provisions in the Constitution of India give the central government the right to issue directions to the RBI in the public interest. Statement 3: the governor of the RBI draws his natural power from the RBI Act. So this question talks about the RBI. Okay, and RBI stands for what? Reserve Bank of India, and this is the central bank that deals with the regulation of currency, money supply, and many more things. But this question becomes simple when you have the basic idea whether RBI is a constitutional body or the statutory body. So if you are able to understand that RBI is basically a statutory body established under RBI Act 1934 and was operationalized into function in 1935, then you will be able to eliminate the option and you will be able to come to the answer. Okay, so I have provided you the basic idea. Now try to link our concepts to this question and try to eliminate the option, and the further details of this question will be provided you in the last session of the discussion. Okay, so be with us and maintain continuity in hearing the discussion, because if there is no continuity you will be lacking progress in your further preparation. So be continuous and try to focus in a good way. That is the point, and as you all know, continue to makes a person perfect in its aim objective. Okay, so now we are shifting to the article discussion, and also you have to attempt the UPSC mains question, and we are asking you the question only from the PYQ. Okay, so that you have a broader perspective in understanding the questions, which type of questions UPSC do ask. Okay, so this is a recent question which was given in UPSC GS2 paper 2023, and the question says, remember, understand closely, the constitutionality guaranteed judicial independence is a prerequisite of democracy. Comment. So what is UPSC asking here? UPSC is basically linking the judicial independence with democracy. Remember, whenever in any country there is democracy, there needs to be judicial independency, because in absence of judicial independency, the executive, the government will become dominant, and the government can do any actions. Even they can interfere in the fundamental rights of the citizen, even they can change the political system, they can make the democracy converting into autocracy. That's why there is a need to have a proper judiciary which is independent in nature. Consider in the case like India, we have the judicial independency, we have Supreme Court, we have the executive, we have the legislature, and all are separated. And that's why if the executive try to interfere in the legislative action or in the judicial action, that means the judiciary is here to protect the interest of the constitution, to protect the sanctity of the constitution. That is important point you need to understand. And what are some provisions in the constitution that gives our judiciary the independency? Like we have the article 32, okay, that gives the Supreme Court to protect the fundamental rights of the citizen if violated by the state. And also we have like the DPSP, it talks about separation of executive from judiciary. And also we have high courts, and also the proceedings of the judiciary cannot be discussed in the House or the Lok Sabha or the Raj Sabha. These are the constitutional provisions. So in this way, the protection to the democracy is given. Okay, and there are many more things, but we have tell you some of the important points, and you can integrate into this question. Okay, so remember that the question UPSC asks have an analytical approach, and you have to interlink all the dimensions and the topics and the concepts to put into your answer, so that your answer becomes reflective and more enrichment. Okay, so that's the point I wanted to convey. Now we are shifting to the editorial discussion. Okay, and the first article, it is related to GS paper 2, and specifically it is focusing on education and sustainable development goals. So when we talk about sustainable development goals, what does it mean? Sustainable development means the development which a nation proposes should be in having good prospects in the future as well. Okay, they should not harm the future prospects. Okay, so that is the point. And why there is the term sustainable development? Because the pace of growth and development which we are seeing now is harming the environment. Okay, harming various natural resources. That's why to protect our future generation from vulnerability, there is a need to have a sustainable development in the policy in every sector. So that is the point. And when we talk about basics of sustainable development goal, these are 17 goals. Okay, and it has been factored with 169 targets, and it was accepted in 2015 by 193 United Nations member states. And what does it say? It says that these 17 goals needs to be achieved by 2030. Okay, and what are these goals? And here I am trying to give you additional point. Whenever you are writing answers, okay, you should integrate these type of goals into your main answer writing, whether it is in the conclusion, whether it is in the introduction. For example, you are talking about poverty. Okay, so link in the conclusion, like one of the goal of sustainable development is that to have a no poverty by 2030, and we should have a actions as fast as possible to deal with the poverty. So the examiner will be happy like you have integrated these concepts. So that's why it becomes very important. So the context here is how the higher quality education promotes sustainable development. Not only the sustainable development goal 4 that talks about quality education, but majority of the sustainable development goals can be achieved if you are able to promote the good quality higher education system. Okay, So you can remember these goals, like goal number 1 talks about no poverty, goal number 2 talks about zero hunger, SDG goal 3 talks about good health and well-being, SDG 4 talks about quality education. You can read all these by pausing the video and try to integrate in your answer. Okay, so that is the basic point and the basic context. We have talked about the sustainable development goals. Now, a report which was published recently, that is your sustainable development goal report 2023, and it talked about that the achievement towards SDG goals is little bit slow. And why slow? Because of the various factors that culminated in the recent years, like the COVID-19, along with the impact of climate crisis, along with Russia Ukraine war we are seeing, and also the weak global economy. Okay, and also the impact and the slow progress is very much visible in the least developed countries. And when we talk about India, India is also coming under this category, not in the category of least developed countries, but in the category that the progress towards achieving SDG goals is very much less in India. Okay, and you can also understand this by seeing the rank of India in the SDG report. That is the point. But not all things are bad. In fact, we have initiated various policies, various initiatives so that we can align to achieve our sustainable development goals. And for that, the education, the higher education, the quality higher education becomes a very important pillar. And as you all know, when we talk about education, it is the basic pillar for the human capital. Okay, and if the quality becomes enrichment, then uh, the quality of the human capital will also become efficient and progressive. Okay, so that is the important role for education. And also, by understanding all of these, our recent actions to promote education is taken by the government so that we can able to achieve the SDG goals. Like in the initial times, we have implemented Right to Education Act. Along with, we are providing basic free education to the colleges, university, to the vulnerable sections. Also affordable colleges we are providing, the government run schools, colleges we are seeing here. Okay, so these are the sectors the government is interfering. Okay, and that is a good thing. And also, the recent actions and policy indicates that India is committed towards realizing the sustainable development goals. And when we talk about SDG 4, यानी कि सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल नंबर 4, it pertains to quality education, which is a prerequisite for the achievement of other goals. How the SDG goal 4, if fulfilled, then it will promote the achievement of other goals. It needs to be understood. Okay, when we talk about higher quality education, it means people will be getting empowered. Okay, people will earn more. That means better lifestyle, that means poverty reduction, that means better nutrition, that means reducing the health crisis. So when we're talking about the significance of good quality education, it has numerous benefits and it has very much impact on SDG goals. Okay, whether SDG 1, 2, 3, 4, you can count. And also, it helps in social mobility, accelerating social mobility. Remember, social mobility meaning you are vulnerable, you are poorer, and if you have good quality education, you are earning more, you are living better life. That means your social mobility will increase towards up, and you will be having better life and better dignity. So that is the social mobility. And also, it empowers people. How? Via creativity, via critical thinking, and also it grants the people, the skilled people, the employment skills so that better jobs they may get. Okay, so that is the point. And also, you can quote this report also. When we talk about OECD, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, as per this, people having the higher education degree are more employable and earn an average of 54% more than those who only have completed senior secondary education. Meaning, let's say a person, okay, having a senior secondary education degree, he is earning only 100 rupees. That means if a person having higher education degree like MA or even higher degree, that means that person will be earning 154 rupees. And remember, this extra 54 rupees improves their life, along with dignity, along with higher challenges to deal with the challenges in the life, like related to the health crisis or the education for the children and many more things. Okay, so that's why it is very important to have a higher education degree. And also, the benefit of university inclusive education better protects people against poverty, that is SDG goal 1, like preventing them from hunger, that is SDG goal 2, also supports them for good health and well-being, that is a state that is SDG goal 3, and also promotes gender equality, along with provides them decent work, which in turn drives economic growth and also reduce inequality, that is your SDG 10. So here a good university and inclusive education have the significance, have the impact on various SDG goal. That is the crux of this article. Okay, you should remember this. These type of articles comes rarely, so I am discussing in a detailed way. Hope you are understanding this. Okay, and if you are able to understand, please support our initiative, like, share, subscribe at this time as well. Okay, so now, furthermore, university needs to be strengthened in providing good quality research and teaching, so that the university education should improve. And if university education is improving, that means higher education and its quality is improving, and also multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary systems of education enables that a human capital should be produced as a multi-talented people. And if there is multi-talent available, then definitely innovative solutions will be given for the global challenges, whether it is the climate change, whether it is the mobility, whether it is the telecommunication, in every field. And also it will help in dealing with the various challenges like affordable and clean energy. These all comes from what? Research. And research quality depends on what? Quality on higher education system, along with sustainable cities and communities, and dealing with the climate change and global warming. Okay, so sustainable development is possible only if we radically change the way we produce and consume. And remember that sustainable production and consumption is also one of the SDG goal number 12. And for that, there is a need to have a research, there is a need to have a innovative solutions. Okay, so it should be promoted upon. And not only that, we have to introduce value based education. Okay, whether it is the higher education or whether it is basically secondary or any level of education, there is a need to have a value based education. And what it empowers the citizens or the students, it actually makes the students responsible towards self, towards society, and definitely it helps to achieve life on land. Okay, so that is the point. We have to care about biodiversity and many more things. And that's why National Education Policy 2020 demands that the Indian higher education should be committed to map its day-to-day operations with the SDG, whether they are in line with the promotion of SDG or not. And for that, we have a index or the report which releases and ranks various university according to the achievement of SDG goals. And that is a good point, that we are ranking university. and this will also tell whether the university is performing good or not in achieving the SDG goals. Okay, and to accelerate the progress, the stakeholders of higher education, whether it is teachers, whether it is researchers, whether the experts, should be educated and oriented so that none of their activities leave any SDG goal behind. And that's why universities should ensure community health, energy saving measures, efficient resource allocation, waste reduction, development of local skills, and all that requires that we have the cooperation among the stakeholders along with promoting sustainability in our education system. So that is the point. And what is the conclusion now? One important thing you should remember that we have a university and colleges. Some university and colleges are well equipped with technology, assets, resources, and some of the college or university have lacking of it. Okay, so there is a need to have a sharing of services, there is a need to have an infrastructure sharing, facility sharing, so that the resource deficit university or college should be able to find the opportunity from these infrastructure and should be able to grow, should be able to develop, should be able to innovate. That is the importance of sharing of services, and there is a need to have a culture like this in our Indian university. So it is a high time that our university adopt sustainability as a mantra and incorporate sustainable development goals into their institutional strategy, whether it is in the daily administration, whether it is in the field of teaching, whether it is in the field of research, all requires to implement SDG or the sustainability into these fields or into this arena. Okay, and that's why every citizen must feel that the university contribute directly to the well-being and the nation building, and for that the quality of higher education institution matters. Okay, so that is the end of this article. Hope you enjoyed this article, and this is also very interesting for me as well. Okay, so now we are shifting to short news and articles, and it is also very important. Remember, recently RBI has met with its monetary policy committee, and they released actually bi-monthly report. And one of the important thing that a person analyzes from this report is basically what is the repo rate decided. Remember, when we talk about repo rate, it is also known as key rate, policy rate, benchmark rate. Okay, so these are the name of the same thing. So what this repo rate means? So in simple terms, let's say we have a bank, okay, and we have RBI. So if bank requires money as a loan for the short time period, and it approaches to RBI that please RBI give me some money for short term purpose. So RBI will give the bank money, but at the interest rate. Okay, and the interest rate charged is actually the repo rate. Okay, and if reverse is done, that is called reverse repo rate. And hope you understood reverse repo rate. Try to explain by yourself, it will be very good, and it will be able to understand you in deeper manner. Okay, so this is the point. Hence RBI, to control inflation, they try to increase or decrease or maintain consistency in the repo rate. So in this current meeting, RBI kept the benchmark interest rate unchanged for the fourth consecutive meeting. And now why RBI is doing this? It is actually because to control the inflation. You are seeing inflation is a big problem for nowadays. And why this inflation? It is actually the food and fuel sector, and the demand of it is rising, the price of it is rising. That's why it has impact on the retail inflation. That is the point. Okay, and also RBI told that inflation risks now coming to stability, meaning there is a no need to panic, and it will come to the stability. Okay, and why this inflation is rising? RBI told about the uncertainties that is going on because of the shortfall in production of pulses because of monsoon deficit, along with low reservoir levels. These all are the reasons were cited. And also RBI reiterated that the real GDP growth for this fiscal year, yani ki for the year 2023 to 24, will be 6.5%, and the retail inflation will be 5.4%. Okay, and remember, when we talk about controlling inflation, then RBI has given tasks to control inflation, and there is a need to broaden the inflation between the range of 2 to 6%. Okay, but recently in this meeting, RBI told that our major focus to control inflation is to maintain the inflation target to 4%, not 2 to 6%. Meaning RBI also knows that below 4% inflation target is currently not possible. So RBI is indirectly indicating that our inflation target should be 4%. And also in the coming times, they will take more anti-inflationary measures. Anti-inflationary measures are the measures that aims to control, that aims to restrict the inflation. Okay, so that is the point. Hope you understood. Hope you understood repo rate. Okay, and I want you to answer a question. If RBI increases the repo rate, okay, so what will be its impact on inflation? What will be its impact on money supply? Please do answer in the comment section. Now we are moving to second article, that is climate change and impact on biodiversity. Remember, UPSC did had asked the question on the impact of climate change on food security. So there is no doubt in the coming future, maybe UPSC can ask the impact of climate change on biodiversity, because climate change has huge impact on biodiversity. Okay, there is growing habitat destructions, habitat degradation, along with the extinction of various species we are seeing, and all that relates to climate change as claimed by various reports and scientific journal. So you can quote this report now in your answer if there is a question on this. Okay, there was a study that is titled as ongoing declines for the world's amphibians in the face of emerging threat, and this study was published in scientific journal called as Nature. And there is important conclusion from this report, like 2 out of 5 amphibians are facing extinction threat due to climate change. You can quote this fact, okay, in your answer. This is very much important. And remember, what do you mean by amphibians? You have to comment in the comment section. Okay, be interactive, share your insights. Okay, what questions we ask, please do try to answer, so that your interactive sessions becomes more active and you will be more learning. Okay, so that is the point. And also between 2004 and 2022, a few critical threats have also pushed more than 300 amphibians closer to extinction. And remember, one of the critical threat was climate change, which is also the primary threat for the 39% of these species to be coming under extinction. And also with the increase in climate change, there is habitat destructions, degradation, and they are affecting 93% of all threatened amphibian species. And that's why we need to have a protection for these species, for the protection of biodiversity, and we have to have a expanded habitat and corridor protection, okay, which is the need of the hour. Now we are shifting to another article. It is related to the ethics section. Remember, we have talked about the professional ethics whenever we were dealing about the ethics lecture series, okay, in the initial stage. So when we talk about ethics, it is certain set of values, okay, that a person have to follow while performing any actions, okay, whether it is dealing with the public, whether it is dealing with the personal life. there are certain sets and norms that a person follows. So when we talk about professional ethics, meaning the ethical values that needs to be followed when a person is dealing with the business or the professions. Okay, and these are very critical for the progress of the company, for the progress of the person in the work. So that is the important point. So you can see here that these are principles that govern the behavior of a person or a group in a business environment. And one of the examples we can take here, like a doctor when consults with the patients, they need to follow professional ethics. They need to have a patience and empathy and compassion, because without this, doctors may lose their patients, and there may be a very huge impact on the patient, on the health. Okay, so that is the point. You can quote here, it is mentioned here, good doctor must deal with patients with compassion and empathy. Okay, so now shifting to our next article, it is related to Manrega. Remember, when we talk about Manrega, it is very important a scheme as well as very important topic for the UPSC examination. Okay, whether it is for the prelims, whether it is for the mains. So Manrega stands for Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee. Okay, and this ensures that for the rural population who are demanding for work, this should be guaranteed with minimum 100 days of work, and if not, then monetary compensation should be given. That is the basic provision. Okay, and this is central sponsored scheme, meaning the state have to contribute some fund and the center have to contribute some fund. There are many features of this scheme, like payment within 15 days, also wage gender parity, meaning even the men or the women doing the same work, they must have to have the equal remuneration for the same work. And also there should be a work within 5 kilometers, and if their work is more than 5 kilometers, then transport compensation should be given additionally. Okay, and also it is applicable to all the districts, and also it is also an example of women empowerment here, like 1/3 of the jobs reserved for women, and along with it strengthens panchayati raj, and we have talked about 100 days of work is guaranteed. Okay, but there is a issue, there is challenges associated with Manrega, like the fund crisis. Remember, in financial year 2022-23, Manrega fund was allocated in higher amount, but in 2023-24 only 60,000 crore was allocated for this financial year. That means the workers who are working in this scheme, they may get delayed payment. Okay, and because of delayed payment, their lifestyle may get dysfunctional. So that is the point, and this remains a very important and bigger issue in this scheme. So fund crisis, low wage rate, it is very low wage rate, remember. Okay, so it is also an issue, along with delayed payments and lack of work site facility like drinking water, toilet, sanitation, and all of these. Okay, so that is the point. You can read this article. Now shifting to the next article, and this is the article related to the caste survey, which was published by the Bihar government recently, and there was a lot of comments with respect to this survey. So what is the significance of this survey? First of all, we have a proper idea that what population constitutes in how much number, so that if government tries to implement schemes, so that benefit should be given to the rationalized beneficiary. Otherwise there are many loopholes, and the person who are in need to get the benefit are not able to get benefited, because these benefits are taken by ghost beneficiary in the name of the various schemes. Okay, so that is the important of this caste survey, and there is also demand that this survey should be conducted on a nationwide. So only time will tell whether it will be conducting at a nationwide or not. But what a question I am asking you here, the population census or the census comes under which list, whether it comes under state list or the union list or the concurrent list? Please try to tell me. Okay, now we are shifting to another article. It is related to the anti-pollution measures now started in Delhi and NCR. And when we talk about the Delhi, remember that in winter the pollution level starts increasing in the Delhi and NCR. Why? I have discussed already. Cause of a stable burning in the nearby areas of the Delhi like Punjab, Haryana. Along with, in the winter the air becomes stable and the pollutants are not able to distribute in different regions. So the concentration of pollutants become concentrated in Delhi. Okay, that is the second point. Also, large number of vehicular pollution along with construction works and many more developmental works that are going on, these also impact the pollution of Delhi. Okay, so that is the point. So now there is a pollution measurement index that is called as air quality index that measures the pollution level. Okay, so on Friday Delhi air quality index slipped to poor category. Okay, and after this there is emergency plan that needs to be executed automatically. That is stage 1 of the graded response action plan, which now imposed in the national capital region. And when we talk about GRAP, it is a set of emergency measures taken to reduce air pollution. Okay, and it is currently imposed under stage 1. If pollution level becomes very poor, severe, that means a stage 1 will be transformed into stage 2 and further stages, and the restrictions will be increased much and much. Okay, so you can see here a reading between 0 and 50 of the AQI is considered good. 51 to 100 it is satisfactory, 100 and 200 it is moderate, 201 and 300 poor. So it is currently under poor, and it becomes more worse, that is more than 300, and between 400 it comes under very poor. Then more restrictive measures will be taken, and between 401 and 500 it is under severe. Okay, and there is a statutory body, that is your Committee for Air Quality Management, that is responsible for proactively implementing the graded response action plan in the Delhi and NCR region. And also, if the condition further deteriorates, then certain more measures will be taken, like increasing the parking fees so that we can discourage the private transport and we can encourage the bus and metro services, along with prohibiting Bharat Stage 3 petrol and Bharat Stage 4 diesel 4-wheelers from operating, because these all causes pollution and contributes it. Okay, so that is the point. Now we are shifting to again one important article. Here you have to only understand and look into the headlines, and you have to use in the main answer. Okay, so recently controversy is going on between the arrest of Aam Aadmi Party leaders, okay, and the central government. So here you have to take some important quote from, like, country will not progress by playing agency game. In fact, the opposition party do claims that the central agency are used by the central government to have a political gains in the elections. So you can quote this. Okay, country will not progress by playing agency game. That's why I chosen this article. Now we are shifting to last article, and it is related to again political news, but here we are specifically focusing on freebies. Okay, freebies are set of certain schemes, benefits that are provided by the government free of cost. Okay, and you can observe that these freebies are often provided when there is a closeness of election, when there is a occurrence of election in the coming days. So in Rajasthan and in Madhya Pradesh, there is the upcoming elections in 2023. So there is sudden increase of freebies provided by both these government. So here the Supreme Court asked various authority like Center Election Commission of India, okay, that how they are dealing with these type of programs. Okay, and remember these freebies, although called as freebie, but they are not free because they comes from taxpayers' money. Okay, and these freebies, if invested in the capital formation, then there will be more benefits in the coming future. Okay, like establishment of hospitals, like education institutes, and many more things. So that is the point here. Okay, so you have to understand this context. So we have discussed all this article. Hope you understood in great detail. So today's article is over. Hope you enjoyed. And if you are liking our initiative, please do like, share, and subscribe with your friend circle. Thank you, friend. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.